This is crazy, but your opinion of dogs is about to go up. Hi, I'm Erica on Spirit 105.3 with Lisa Holt from Parkinson's Alert Dogs. Lisa, welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Wonderful. I think it's so cool that you get to work with dogs every single day, which I love. But really, Lisa, you're in the hope business. What do you do?
I'm a canine detection trainer and program director for a program called PADS for Parkinson's. What we do is we work with dogs to train them to detect an odor that is associated with Parkinson's disease.
And how do you train them to detect that odor?
It's quite a process. It's fairly lengthy. It requires that we collect about somewhere between 50 and 150 different samples from people who have been neurologically diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, and the same amount of samples from people who are considered to not have Parkinson's disease. In the very early stages, what we do is we pair the samples that do have Parkinson's disease, or let's say came from donors who have Parkinson's disease, with a high-value reinforcer or reward for the dog. And then at some point, probably about 400 times in 6 months of this, we remove the high-value reinforcer. And the dog begins to understands. He kind of notices it because he used to get a reward for this odor. So now we notice that odor, and then we reward that notification and eventually shape that into what we call an alert.
Amazing. Lisa, what is an example of a high-value reward? Like for me, it would be pizza. What is it for the dogs?
For dogs, it might be chicken or turkey or, a ball or whatever that dog, finds to be really favorable to them.
So, Lisa, how does a dog pass muster to be part of the PADS program? Like, I imagine they start as service dogs?
No, absolutely not. It's a great question. I think that's, can maybe a common perception for a lot of people that these are dogs that start out being extraordinarily obedient and, whatever. That's not always true. What makes a good detection dog is a dog that really wants to solve the problem, really wants to work, has a very high level of energy, drive.
Wow.
The dog that just, can't get enough of chasing the ball or, finding the toy or, wants to go on a walk all the time. It isn't necessarily the dog that's going to sit quietly and, be relaxed all the time. It's not that dog at all.
Right. I love that. Do you have a favorite detection dog, Lisa? Or is it just you love them all and they're all wonderful?
Really, they're all wonderful.
Yeah,
really, they're all wonderful. I mean, we have had dogs be highly successful, Papillons and Pomeranians all the way up to Mastiffs, and anywhere in between.
Oh, my goodness. See, I was just picturing a golden retriever this entire time, but that paints such an amazing picture.
Right. We do have golden retrievers.
Sure, of course you do.
And, Aussies and Labradors and German Shepherds have been in the program. All of the, what we would consider to be maybe the common dog, but a lot of them are rescue dogs. A lot of them are, terriers, et cetera. Just, as long as they have a nose.
That's fantastic.
Kind of the qualifier.
Amazing. You call this program Hope in the Nose of a Dog. Why is this such a hopeful thing that these dogs are accomplishing?
Well, for many of your listeners out there, and I did not realize this at all, that there is no real diagnosis for Parkinson's disease. And it's believed to be, it's a pretty common consensus among neurologists and movement specialists that Parkinson's disease starts somewhere between 10 and 15 years before tremors are presented. And the real hope is that if it can be identified at that stage, then it's really possible that therapy that can slow progression can actually be quite effective. And so therapeutic treatment, if it were delivered 10 to 15 years before the tremors are presented, it's believed that people would have, an additional, as things are today, an additional maybe 1 to 2 decades of life added on to the lifespan of the disease. So it's extraordinarily important that we're able to find it early, and there's no way today to do that. And dogs can actually detect to the level of what's called a picogram, which is extraordinary. I mean, that is 1 trillionth of a gram. And they are able to, in many instances, outperform modern laboratory testing. And there's a lot of laboratory tests that are now becoming available for Parkinson's. They're in, what they call basically clinical trials, et cetera.
Yeah.
But there's a skin biopsy test that has been showing some effectiveness. There's also another non-invasive skin test that is on the market, which again begins to show that there is, there's proof of that odor that the dogs are detecting in Parkinson's disease has been proven that it is there. What it is not exactly been figured out yet. So the great hope is that once a test becomes available and dogs can find it early, because I'm fairly certain they may be able to do that. If dogs can find it early before even a laboratory test can do it, then that person can be tested year after year until actually we're able to determine that they do indeed have Parkinson's disease, and then therapeutic treatment could be administered at that time, which would, be a truly wonderful thing for the disease and possibly able to help with finding out the cause of the disease if we can figure it out early enough. And if you can find out the cause of this disease, we're much closer to a cure.
Oh, so hopeful, so remarkable. Lisa, do you have a favorite success story to share?
Well, I think the great thing is that we've been able to show, like in the last 2 years of our program, we had 23 dogs in the program. We've just published research. We looked at all of the dogs, in the first time that they had ever encountered all unique samples in the training room and what we call on the wheel, which is where the samples are presented to them. So if you look at the very first time that a fresh sample of someone that comes from a healthy human donor versus someone who's been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, I think it was over like 85% higher than 85% that they were able to do this the first time, the very first time.
That is so exciting.
It is pretty amazing. I mean, I love the fact that we can use dogs today, to work with humanity. And
Do you hear from people battling Parkinson's, and are they just so grateful?
They are, yes. I think that even if it's really too late for them, that, all of the people that we have met, all of the people that we have encountered through this journey, these people are excited and hopeful and really just passionate about the work that's being done with all levels of detection for Parkinson's disease, whether it's medical, scientific, or with the dogs, that we get on top of this disease in the future.
Lisa Holt from Parkinson's Alert Dogs, thank you for the work you and your team are doing, and hug those dogs for us.
We will.
Appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you for your interest in PADS.